We've got a bunch of bar and restaurant partners and brewery partners, and it's called Tom and Dan Watering Holes. You can find it at tomanddan.com or at tomanddanwateringholes.com. But we have a couple brand new ones at the beginning of this year.
This one's really interesting. In Davenport, Florida, it's the first self-pour beer house. It's called Tap That Beer House. I like saying that. Tap That Beer House. It's like fun to say.
Yeah, basically you get your pint and then you could try a bunch of different beers.
Well, by the ounce. So you can walk over with like a tiny cup and like get a couple squirts and there, oh, that's the IPA I want. Then you get yourself a big pour.
It is like a beer fest that you could go to at any time.
Yeah, they like to support local breweries. Now, speaking of local breweries, 1010 Brewing. One of the very, very first people that ever supported this show was Mike. He's the owner of 1010. He's a great dude. We love him a lot. He has a rib contest, amateur rib cooking contest. It's this Saturday.
Yep.
People are very it's a very popular event. A lot of BDMs are entering. A lot of BDMs are going to be there. Mo DeWitt, I believe, has a team.
Yep.
Hopefully Busdecker's not cooking the ribs, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, there's a charity raffle, live music, beer, and that's at 1010 Brewery.
Yeah, they call it beer, snacks, and sandwiches. I mean, I love that place. In fact, when my scooter gets fixed, you'll probably find me there.
And of course, our watering hole partners in Sanford, West End, Celery City.
The Sullivan.
Yep.
Brand new Sanford, holding it down. If you like Irish pubs, Irish fare, this bar was handcrafted by Mr. Mike Smith, our good friend from the Current Seafood Counter in both Sanford and in the Ivanhoe area. But this is his brand new little project. It's an Irish bar, and I was talking to him actually at the Current, and I'm going to go out there with the family, and we're going to do some shepherd's pie.
Yep, yeah. The Current is also a watering hole as well. Salty Sisters in Cocoa Beach. We got Will's Pub right there on Mills District.
Will's Pub is awesome, man. Like, he's always supporting like local bands. He supports the Punk Rock Girls Camp. He's a good dude. And if you're undecided, Will's is a good place because he has like a whole little compound.
Yeah. There's Little Indies and Dirty Laundry that is attached to Will's Pub, and Dirty Laundry is their outdoor concept.
Think like metal trash tiki patio
it's awesome.
With handcrafted drinks.
Also, the Breeze, that's in Kissimmee, and if you want some delicious whiskeys, they could do it, the Breeze in Kissimmee.
This is a beautiful bar. Yeah, Breeze, they got bucket specials on Monday. Ladies' Night is Wednesdays. This weekend, they got live DJs and karaoke. So, see, there's always something going on at tomanddanwateringholes.com.
Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio. It's a blast! It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Hello. This is your Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan program. We hope that you will find our presentation precise, joke heavy, and just right. Thanks.
Welcome to the Friday free show of A Mediocre Time.
Hey! It is another A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
On the couch. We love this guy. He was in there trying to set some more of the original Godzilla pinball, courtesy of thepinballdudes.net. Man, I'm addicted to that machine. I cannot stop playing it.
I know.
My wife is addicted. Yeah.
I came back after an hour run, and then Daniel's still here playing the pinball.
I was.
I'm like, what the hell?
That was my first game, though. That was my first game. I promise you, it was.
It was like 4:30.
When I get here in the mornings, Ross. Oh, let me introduce Ross. I fucked that all up. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Orlando Talk Show, it is our very good friend, comedian,
Journeyman
improv comedian. Can I say that now? Improv comedian.
The credit I go by right now is the unique skill shot record holder.
Okay, the unique. He is a Godzilla pinball unique skill shot and secret combo record holder. Mr. Ross McCoy is here. What up?
What's up?
How are you, man? Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
The Weekend is on the cover of the latest Variety magazine. So if anybody wants to buy that for Ross and put it in the mail to him or something, go ahead and do that.
He's going to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Magazine.
Yeah. Well, I tried to share the digital print to Ross this morning, and then Apple told me I'm not allowed to do that. So, but if I were to buy the fucking magazine at a bodega and had it here, and then Ross came to the show, I would go. And that's what I was trying to do, just an updated version. I would go, hey, because I'm not as big a Weekend fan as Ross is. So I'd say, hey,
it'd be hard to be. Yeah.
Guess who's on the cover of Variety, Ross? The Weekend. I saved this magazine for you. And you hadn't seen it, had you?
I guess the only real con to your argument, Dan, is that in that case, we would both have a copy of the magazine. If you gave me your physical magazine, you wouldn't have one anymore. Somehow you've created another copy of the magazine, right?
Right.
And I think that's probably their complaint. But
at this time, do you have
Variety. Nobody's reading you.
do you have to pay the Weekend to put his image on the magazine? Like, if I was the Weekend,
I'd be like, saying. That's a great question.
Be like, hey, you are benefiting more than I am.
But I do like what you're saying.
He's an 80s guy, and he does a lot of stuff in magazines. Like, he'll make announcements in, like, GQ, and so he's done this before.
Like, it still means something to him?
Yeah, and he'll go like all out.
He's an artist. You're never going to be able to get it.
Like, it won't just be an interview with the Weekend. Like, this guy that interviewed the Weekend, it will have been a whole experience that he's going to with the Weekend. That he's going. The Weekend has done this before with like GQ and other magazines.
I have some Weekend stories I can't even tell.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
Why can't you tell them?
Because I was told these stories by someone who worked with the Weekend, and I was sworn to secrecy.
I know who it is.
But I'll say this: he's kooky.
No, he's crazy.
He's I knew that. He's a true artist.
Yeah.
Real, 100%. But that's your show. You lock Tom and the Weekend inside this studio for a week. Or for a weekend. Why don't we just do it on the weekend? Hold on a second. He wrote itself. Hold on. He fucking wrote itself.
Let's lock him in for 4 days.
We'll call it Extended Weekend. Holiday Weekend. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody.
What if we put them in a mini dealership downtown?
With some honey buns.
Yes.
People still bring that up, and it drives them crazy. People love that bit.
It was a good one. I don't think it sold a mini. But.
You and Tuttle were the original Mr. Beast, dude. You guys were. You did all the same shit he's doing now, except he's like, do you see anybody watching Beast games? Anybody watching it?
No. My son, Max, I consume Mr. Beast in the mornings. They wake up.
It's a study in how shitty people can be. Like, you see the one girl step off the platform to betray her entire team to get the money.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, you're a bad person if you do that.
So this may make me a horrible parent. I'll ask you, Ross.
Ooh, sure. Do you let him watch? I just let Maisie watch porn.
Come on.
I'm just like, get it out now. You'll be fine.
I don't have to go through the stereotypical pain in the ass of waking the kids up for school. Because they wake themselves up because we let them watch TV in the morning. And, it's sometimes...
I get that early morning brain rot.
It started off with, only YouTube on Fridays, but there it is. I don't know. Yeah. And then, so now they wake themselves up to consume, and it seems bad, but...
Subconsciously, the YouTube algorithm is waking them up, right? Like, the algorithm wakes you up because you need your dose of dopamine.
But they are getting ready for and then going to school?
Yeah.
I mean... What are you going to do?
That's what I say. I love what are you going to do? I love, as a parent, looking at what your kids do and just saying, what are you going to do?
I also like looking at things where there is a solution and something can be done, but I like looking at it and going, nothing can be done. It's way easier for me.
So you told me that we were going to start doing every Friday we're gonna highlight one BDM.
Well, I just thought we maybe didn't highlight somebody, and over the holiday we did not highlight a particular BDM that I feel like is near and dear to all of our hearts.
Santa?
And I'll get to it.
Mike B.
No, it's not Mike B. It's not one of your usual suspects. It's not one of your repeat offenders.
Okay.
But I will say that I feel like we haven't highlighted the BDMs enough. And this particular BDM really went above and beyond during the holiday.
Did somebody send you edibles?
No.
Okay.
Nothing.
Right.
No, I
I'm
was
just
given no
narrowing
gifts. It's
categories
just somebody
out.
participating on the BDM page in a way that I thought it was exemplary and in a way that I thought really helped out. So this week's
Anonymous?
It's not an anonymous, but this week's, and it's late. I'm sorry that I'm getting this now, but it is the first Friday Free Show of the new year of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to congratulate the very first BDM of the week, Honey Tits.
Who is Honey Tits? What is that?
Can you applaud? Can you not be rude first and applaud? First?
Okay, I like the BDM of
Can
the
you
week.
applaud, please?
Okay,
First?
Congratulate Honey Tits,
Honey
and then
Tits.
we'll find out more facts.
Okay.
You didn't see Honey Tits?
No. What is it?
You're joking.
No. I
On the
didn't see it.
BDM page.
No. There was a lot of. I was out of town in miserable situations for 2 weeks straight.
Hold on.
Is this a beekeeper of some sort?
I'm going to the page. If you're not a BDM, then you certainly wouldn't have seen Honey Tits. If you are a BDM, you should have come in contact.
Was this on the BDM page?
It was on the BDM page. I'm trying to log in now so I can show you.
All right, so
Honey Tits.
if you want to be on the BDM page, all you have to do is request to be on it.
Yes.
You have to be a BDM, and
Yes.
that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Some of the people in the chat room are being kind and saying congratulations, Honey Tits. I'm going to the BDM page to search for this now, and I'm going to find it for you. So I'm not I can't believe you didn't see this.
So
If
what
this is an
it?
elaborate bit, and it's just Tom's second screen name.
No. This is a real thing. Let me scroll down here.
What is it?
It is. It was a naked woman.
Naked, like totally naked?
Where she had her titties out.
And Facebook
Hold
let that
on.
slide?
yeah.
You didn't see it?
On the private pages, we've noticed that there's a lot
People
more,
go a little harder.
or a lot less. Like, I don't think the bots scan the private page.
I wonder
Or
if she
something.
took it. I hope
because
she
I've
didn't
seen
take it
nudity
down.
on there.
Oh, okay. Here we go. There's the first one. Let me scroll down a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to find it. There it is. There you go. Honey
Let me-
Tits. What are you looking at?
Okay,
And I wrote-
well, she has.
She has Christmas bows on her tits.
Yeah,
Ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen, your BDM of the week, Honey Tits. I wrote you a custom song, BDM.
BDM of the week.
There we go.
BDM of the week, yeah. Honey tits.
Let's get soulful.
Oh.
Let's get soulful.
Honey tits, all right now. I say honey. You say tits. Honey.
Tits.
Honey.
Tits.
Honey.
All right.
Say honey. You say tits. Honey.
Tits.
Honey.
Tits.
Honey.
Tits.
All right.
Break it down
Okay.
now.
I mean,
Wait, you didn't want to get funky with me?
so you're just giving this person BDM of the week because they made a post
That
with
show
bows on their
tits.
boobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't like that? You're not
Yeah,
into
no,
that? I mean, there was a
no,
time back in the day,
I
Rod,
like it.
where if I would have presented the
I
BDM of
appreciate
the week,
it.
Honey Tits, to this man back at studio number 1, if I'd have presented this to him, he'd have been like, "Oh, let me see
Yeah.
it. Oh, my pecker's hard."
Yeah, he's using all his testosterone to run and stuff.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's all
I don't know.
just, like, getting
What are
burned
you?
out.
So-
you know what? You're just a running physician now. You remind me of my doctor.
What is she
She's a
doing?
running old lady.
Can we take 1 second to appreciate that song where Dan wrote in a part for himself to sing live? That's amazing.
I've been doing that lately.
That's amazing.
AI is now my friend, and then I did do. Thank you for giving
duoing,
me
yeah.
the credit of.
It's amazing.
Do you know how hard it is to get the computer to sing as a crowd tits and then say "But hey, leave a space for me." You know how hard that is.
So why'd you do this? Just as a Merry Christmas?
Let me go through some of the original comments.
No, right.
That's a good question.
Okay, everybody. Somebody said everybody be saying, "Where did the 200 go?" Because that used to be a group of people
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it. The people that used to show their tits and their red dicks in the BDM group were a group called the 200, and then they would cheat on their wives.
No,
they're
not all
breaking
of
up their
them.
families. It was just a myriad of. Look, what they do is
Rampant
it's
drug
their
use,
choice.
yeah.
I'm not saying their names, but they ran it quick and fast and hot. You know. And you live by this, you die by the sword, right? I mean, you do when you're running it like that. And then somebody said, did somebody say honey to everybody liked it? And then somebody said, who is this? like calling her out, and then she said, "This is Honey Tits, bitch."
All right.
She was like, "I'm the number one BDM baddest bitch of them all, showing these titties. I'm Honey Tits, bitch."
This happens in the BDM world cycle, where every 3 years or so we get like
a freak out, like a nudity freak out,
a Titusville hood rat in there.
Yes.
I'm joking.
Pour some monster energy on those saggers.
Thank you for the service.
Come on.
Facebook name Honey Tits? Is that correct?
No, that's what she called herself.
Okay.
I'm not going to out her. I'm not going to say her real name. Her real name is there. I'm not going to say her real name.
She posted a lot of her real self there, right? So
maybe next BDM of the week we could highlight a BDM that used a sponsor.
Okay. There are those.
Yeah. Something that's been supporting us for
everybody. Mike B went by the current. Great job, Mike.
Supporting us for the longest. We can go in the system and see how much each individual has paid us throughout.
This guy
12
bought
years.
6 shirts from Merchman. That's fun.
So anyway, I probably didn't see it because I was in the woods camping, and I use the term woods loosely because it's Fort Wilderness and Disney, so it's not really the woods. It's basically like a resort camping spot. But it was, and I forgot to even talk about this in the week. And by the way, we told a lot of the stories over break on the BDM show on Monday.
We did, yeah.
So if you are a BDM, you want to hear a bunch of stories that happened to us over the break, that was on Monday's BDM show.
Please.
And
check it out.
So we've been taking our kids to Fort Wilderness for this holiday. It's kind of become a tradition.
Tent, cabin, RV. What are you guys doing?
Tent.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
but you wouldn't have. That was a necessity tent, right?
Well,
and you didn't want to make your poor friends feel bad. That's what you told me.
Well, Turkey Leg has a pop-up camper, and
did he not bring it, or did he?
No, he brought it.
Then what? Then what the fuck?
Well, you're allowed to have pop-up campers on the tent.
Then you rent a pop-up camper, right? Instead of taking a tent.
Well, we couldn't because we couldn't fit the Wizards family's tent on the site if we put our pop-up camper. Which, by the way,
Turkey Leg is stuck in a tent like the rest of it. It's easy math.
Yeah, this is a mess.
Somebody doesn't get to be king of the campsite with their pop-up camper.
This is a mess.
It was cold.
Yeah,
and I brought a fire pit.
Can you hear Turkey Leg snoring in his?
He got the surgery.
Did he?
Yeah. And what happened is
he got his waddle removed.
Yeah, but now he just whistles. It's like
he went to some Miami doctor that lasered his throat.
Was I not supposed to bring this up?
No.
I always ask the best question. People ask like, "Hey, Tom's the best at telling stories," and I go, "Yeah, I think I asked some pretty good questions."
Okay, you know what's weird about snoring? If anybody knows someone who snores,
yes,
like, and I've known Turkey Leg for 20 years plus, and
he's a good Harley mechanic man.
Every time, like in the past before the surgery, like, and this is a weird phenomenon where the person can be awake but so relaxed that they start snoring while they're awake.
Yeah.
And multiple times,
you got a mushy esophagus.
Yeah, multiple times I've been sitting with him on the couch at his house or whatever.
It's always on the couch.
Yeah, he's got a limp esophagus.
And then he's snoring, and I look over and his eyes are open. And what the fuck? And then he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "You were snoring." And he's like, "Really?" And then they can't hear themselves anyway. So
yeah, it's like a fart.
I think snoring's when you're asleep, and when you're just sitting on the couch, it's snorting like how Big does.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, they lasered his throat, and now instead of snoring,
what we gonna do? We gotta laser your throat, man. Hey, man, we're gonna laser your throat.
It's a high pitched, weird snore, like you're squeezing
like a train whistle.
Oh, no, like a balloon when you squeeze.
Yes,
oh
no! You know when you do, and then it fizzles out. It goes. And then it turns up at the end because it's got one more little bloof at the end.
Yeah. That's what
Turkey Leg. I'm so
the
sorry.
Miami laser snort.
Hey, I'm gonna laser your throat. You're gonna sound like a Party City balloon. You're gonna sound like a Party City balloon.
So anyway, we're sitting, and this is like the last day. For whatever reason, Crystal booked 3 days. She's like, "We need 3 days of this misery," and there's got to be a better way to create memories. Because
that's a great. Hold on, that's a great vacation tagline.
Yeah,
there's got to be a better way to create memories.
Loading 800 pounds of garbage in the back of my truck, unloading it, setting up a campsite, freeze sleeping.
You texted me. Remember, I texted you, and I'm like,
dads are shitting right next to me.
I texted. Okay, I had used AI to Photoshop a picture of Dansby smoking a joint with Matt Gaetz. And I sent it to Tom. Remember this? And I sent it to Tom, and I go, "Hey, I can make anything." Oh, and then I did one of you and the Drunkie the Bear suit shaking hands with Trump. Remember that? And I sent it to Tom, and I go, "I can do anything now. I'm a god." I was just fucking around. And then he sent me back. He goes, "It's like basically a real shutdown message. Like, well, I'm driving with 100 pounds of shit in my trunk to a place I don't want to go to do things I hate." And I'm like, "Okay, well, have a great vacation, bye."
Mm-hmm. I like camping when there's like when the kids have to go through some sort of rough situation, or they're like put in the middle of the woods and there's some grit involved. But is it camping at a resort?
Like the Charlie Brown camping trip where they take the wrong fork of the river and have to go through the dark forest or something?
Like
I get what you mean. I think I understand. I think I can translate this. You're taking theme parks, which we know you hate, okay? And then you're taking something that he only likes if he does it away from theme parks. And you're taking something you hate and injecting it straight into the theme park. That's why you're mad at it.
Well, we didn't go to the theme parks, but
you went to Blizzard Beach. That's close enough.
It's just,
and you went to Blizzard Beach?
Well, they have free tickets.
That's a theme park.
It is. That's a diarrhea park.
They give you free Blizzard Beach passes when you check into any resort right now, Disney World. So
nice
we just went there.
Nice scam.
But it's,
come shiver with us.
If I have to go through like something hard, I want the whole family to equally be as miserable, so that they at least, I'm like, well, they're getting some sort of grit out of this. But I'm going through something miserable to set up comfort for my sons,
right?
And they're super comfortable and never going through anything miserable.
Yeah,
so
but,
then what am I?
But you're never going to switch, right? So because you got to investigate that part because.
So I'll tell you the closest I've ever come to setting myself on fire by accident. I have set myself on fire before on purpose.
It's actually one of your only stories that you tell that I can't wrap my brain around, and also sounds like so scary when you burn the crusty helmet to your head. You know that story. That story.
Well, I burned all the hair, and then it just that's
got to make people with bad hair so mad that look how good his hair is, and he burned all of it off.
So, what temperature do you think that flame is? Because I want to do that with my ears. It grows out like all around my ears, and I want to start like flaming it off. It seems like the only solution.
You joke around, but Ideal Image used to do that.
Yeah.
Ideal Image, when they do your nose hairs,
somebody behind me.
When they do your nose hairs, no, the laser's so powerful they shoot it through your nose. So they shoot the exterior.
Yeah,
and it's so powerful that it kills the hair follicles inside your nose.
And you don't even snore anymore.
I think you do snore, actually. And then you breathe in all the hair.
We're sitting around the fire, close as hell, freezing because it's in the 40s. And
do they have like a little pit or something for you to build the fire?
No.
Do they have
Well, there's no pits because Disney doesn't want to get sued. So they allow only certain types of fire pits to be used on their campgrounds, and it's got to be the fire pits with they're basically off the ground on wheels or some sort of stand. Everybody's seen those, like basically it's a fire pit on a stand.
Yeah.
So
what about like a solo stove, like smokeless? They wouldn't let you do that?
No, because it's close to the ground, and they don't.
Yeah, but that's engineered. It's not going to catch anything on fire. It's literally engineered to not catch stuff on fire.
Put it on some bricks.
I get what
I'm just telling you what Disney rules, and they'll come by.
Oh, I know.
With a golf cart and like tell you you can't use this or whatever.
Yes.
Because again, all they care about is not getting sued. And so we bought one of these like fire pits on wheels or whatever. It's got like 2 wheels in the back, and it's standard fire pit, and it's got to be enclosed so no embers come out of it. That's another thing. It's got to have a top and sides, and so all the fire's contained off the floor, so it's the safest possible.
Gotcha.
So people don't whatever. So, but
you basically have to build a chimney.
Yes,
basically.
It's
but
big,
they sell
though. It does
them.
sound sort of big though.
They say, you have to take it apart. That's another hassle. Take it apart, zip tie it on the pile of garbage that I'm taking.
Yeah. don't want that falling off and killing somebody on the way home.
So we're sitting there, and it's the worst fire pit because normal fire pits, right, heat from the ground, so they get your legs and you're kind of bent over it. And then you're like leaning over, and the heat's coming up, and then heating your hands, your legs, and face.
Well, what is
Since
it
like
doing?
20,000 BC, that's been the system.
That's right.
Fire
That is
on
the
the ground, you kind of lean over it,
Well, it
cook
works.
marshmallows.
Well, shit works, right?
Squirrel on a stick, whatever, dude.
Well, if you elevate it 2.5 feet off the ground, it only heats your face and upper half, and your legs are
It's
freezing.
your titties in your face.
Yeah. So, like, and then all the heat
Shout out to Honey Tits.
You could stand and, and it kind of feels better, but you're sitting on a camping chair, and then it's only, so whatever. So our legs and ass keep getting cold. And then so Crystal's like, I have a propane like tent heater that we bought from Peace River trip.
I got one of those too. Yeah,
it's basically like a heating coil that uses propane to heat up like red hot, and then it has a little fan in there, and it blows hot air, and then the green propane canister screws into the bottom of it, right?
Yeah, and it makes a very, very scary, I'm going to explode at any moment hissing noise. I have one of these. It's like...
Have you never heard of an Army surplus sleeping bag?
Well, no, we're outside. It's 8 o'clock at night.
He's got a White Claw in his hand. He didn't want to be laying down.
We're still getting drunk by the fire and trying to have a good time.
It's like an extra when you punch armholes in.
So
not a bad idea.
So the kids are running around, the campsite loop, and
so you like that,
time.
Right? Because you're like, okay.
They're having fun, but again, there's got to be an easier way to have fun. So we're sitting. All the parents are sitting around this elevated fire pit, and then Crystal put one of those tent heaters with a propane tank in between our two camping seats so that it could heat our ass and legs.
Yeah, is that the one? It's the one that tilts back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have that one. Yeah, that's a good little heater.
And so it's basically sitting in between our chairs
on the ground.
On the ground.
Well, it's meant to. I mean, it's got these little legs.
By the way, I'm from Florida. I don't know too much about heaters. That's a goddamn northern thing.
It really is.
All your heaters with the red elements and shit. I don't know shit about that.
They have those under their desk. Everybody in a cubicle has one under their desk, and they turn it on, and it sets It's got the red, and it's like a brown box, right?
I mean, as a northerner who grew up in that stuff, like when you're outside, you wear clothes. And then the heaters are all inside a building where you go to get warm.
I know about the sun. I know about alligators. I know about swamps and lakes.
Write all this down. This is a good country song.
I know pain pills. I know meth. I know boating, airboat.
So anyway, we're sitting there, and then Tommy comes by, and he throws his jacket because we have him in multiple layers, right? And then the top layer jacket he had. Now I have multiple layers on too because it's so goddamn cold that I'm sitting. But he's getting hot running around, so
he sweat.
He took off his jacket, he put it on the back of my camping chair. So 10, 15 minutes go by, and I'm sitting there and trying to warm myself like a hobo. And the wizard is sitting across from me. Well, by the way, those stand-up, fireplaces, you can't see anybody sitting around the fire, which ruins the whole...
It's right in the side view.
Yeah. And so it's basically you're staring at this giant-ass fire pit.
Oh, if it generates white noise so you can't sing campfire songs, it's perfect.
And so...
It does nothing.
The wizard leans over, he's like, hey, you're on fire. And I'm like, what? He's like, you're on fire. And then I turn around, and there's a goddamn 3-foot flame coming off the back of my camping chair, and I'm like, oh shit! And I jump up and I knock Tommy's jacket off onto the fucking leaves and pine needles that are all dry, whatever. So Tommy's jacket falls.
Make it worse. You're the one that started the California fire. This guy.
And then it immediately starts the pine needles on fire, and I do the move where I'm stomping it out.
You stomp the shit bag.
And the wives start screaming, and then the wizard's just laughing, and I'm stomping out Tommy's jacket, and it starts burning the fucking leaves or the pine needles.
You can see it on YouTube and Twitch right now. I mean, it got fucked up.
And then it burned like the outer layer.
How fast did that thing burn?
Of my jacket. That's what I'm saying.
God,
look at it. It's made out of petroleum.
Holy shit, that thing went up, dude. It burned the goddamn zipper. It burned. It literally burned it burned the metal girders inside.
Yeah. Also dripped whatever plastic that's made out of into my heater room. I tried to turn back on, smoking
a melted jacket in there.
And then I was like, goddamn. I was like, I almost set myself on fire because then my jacket that I was wearing was singed like it was about to start on fire.
You almost set Disney on fire.
Yeah, I'm sure this has happened before. When then they
jacket on fire? There's a whole category on YouTube
where they send out some sort of golf cart with like a
guy in a fake park ranger uniform,
and they have to use a fire extinguisher.
I don't think I've ever set myself on fire. We covered it earlier this week. I know my mom and dad, their first house burned down. I know that first place they rented, but I don't think I've ever had to deal with anything fire, and I don't think I've set myself on fire. I've had a grill do the whoosh in my face, and then I get the eyebrows.
You
know how they have that bus where it's like painted, like the characters are waving at you from the back of it? They have the same thing. It's one of those fire planes that scoops up water and drops it, except it's Goofy taking a shit out the back.
Speaking of the fire planes,
cool.
With those L.A. fires, someone was flying a drone, and it ran into one of those fire planes, and then they had to basically decommission it for a day or whatever.
They have like this massive Canadian, there's a name for it, but it's this massive Canadian plane that specializes in scooping up the ocean and dumping water, and some stupid civilian drone blew through its wing.
Was it near the ocean? It was scooping it up?
It was low. I didn't read that it was near the ocean. I don't know exactly where. But I think
the LA is right, ocean's right there.
Yeah, I think it was returning. I did pull this story real quick before we...
Imagine flying that drone and all of a sudden the goddamn water scooping plane comes by and hits it. You're like, oh shit!
We've all done stuff where you're like, oh god. And they're like, what do? I take that remote I break it. I start flushing the parts down the toilet, right?
Is there any possibility he saw the plane coming and he's like, I want to get a closer shot, and then was it total by accident?
Anything's possible at this point.
What is this drone made out of that this airplane that can hit the ocean was injured by it?
Well, I think that just like it doesn't take much, it's the force of that guy coming down plus that tiny little plane. I bet you those... Well, I don't know.
I think
I'd love to see the footage of it, right? He's got the footage, I'm sure.
If it's like a bird strike, they have to then land for safety reasons, so make sure there's no problem.
It may have been fine. It could have stayed up. This one's funny because the Weather Channel got tons. This happened yesterday, like midday. They were getting all these like emails and phone calls because people were claiming that the Weather Channel was sharing footage of human remains in the fires.
I saw this.
But it wasn't true. It was all just everything was burnt. Like no, they were like absolutely not. We would never do that.
It was like a burnt sofa or something, and some wreckage that kind of looked like a skeleton. The way they kind of panned across, and for a minute, you know, like when you're taking a shit and you're like looking at the tile and you see like
I do that all the time.
In the tile.
Okay,
these drop down ceilings, I can find anything. I can find anything in a drop down.
Good curtain last hour.
I love that. I do that at doctor's offices. That's what makes my imagination and me crazy. I can look right here and I can create some sort of. I see Shrek.
Dude, wood grain. I can look at some wood grain and see some stuff. Yeah,
me
absolutely.
too. But I thought this was super interesting because it's the first time that I ever remember. The Weather Channel actually came out on both social media and I guess the channel and said like no, like they addressed it, and that's what made it different to me is the fact that they're like no guys, it was almost like no, you're wrong. Stop being everything's not a conspiracy. Everything is not a skeleton. Everything's not a dead person.
Does that make it worse, though? Because then you have people who are like, let me fuck with them, so they talk about me. Like there's some of that. Like,
the Baba Booey. I see OJ and he looks scared. Remember that?
If you just never mention it, maybe it never goes away, but it's like it won't cause more.
That's the Streisand effect, right? Where you're supposed to ignore it, not draw attention to it.
Yes,
because you draw attention to it.
The Weather Channel can eat my dick.
All right,
hold on a second. You got a grudge?
Remember that hurricane that was going to hit Miami? This hurricane season was like plowing right for Miami, but it kind of came up the Gulf and missed Miami altogether.
Okay. Yeah. At this point in time, I forget all the names.
That was the weekend we were going to Miami on the train. We had bought some Brightline tickets, non-refundable, because we got a coupon, and so like, we're going to Miami, a hurricane or no fucking hurricane. And so I bought the premium Weather Channel app because it gives you a little bit more detailed hour by hour. Yeah. And then they also, you get into, so you buy the premium app, you upgrade, and it gives you some good information. It's cool. But then they start, so you click on expanded temperature, for example. You look at the temperatures and then you click back. It pops up an ad for, I don't know, toothpaste or something, and then it says upgrade to Premium Pro to get rid of the ads. Fuck you, Weather Channel app.
Hold on. Upgrade now to BDM Plus. I like that. Right? BDM Plus sounds good, right? Yeah. Upgrade now to BDM Plus to catch live Ram Dave Z seminars because he gets a cut.
Well, I imagine the Weather Channel has not been doing very well ever since the advent of smartphones.
I don't think that's true, because what is the one channel that everybody
do well
in a hotel watches, everybody who's got to drive watches, like anybody who's going to hit the road in the morning turns on the fucking Weather Channel and watches it.
I think maybe.
Do they?
I think
they just look on their smartphone.
I think everything's on the decline, but I'd almost agree with Ross. Out of all the channels, I think that one probably does better than most.
Yeah.
Who looks at the Weather Channel and that just picks up their phone? I mean, your phone has the weather right there.
I mean, like,
weather apps.
No, weren't we talking about like in times of a disaster? Like, I'm not talking about like just normal day. I don't turn on the Weather Channel normal day. But if there is a hurricane coming, I turn on the Weather Channel. Yeah, absolutely.
Again, to get any kind of detailed weather information on your phone, you got to pay 2 fucking premium prices to get it ad free. It's insane.
All right, let's take a break.
Yeah, man.
And when we come back, we've got a
lot to handle.
A bunch of stuff. Ross is got kind of a modified new bit.
I'm excited about this.
And then we got some emails that we want to talk about and some other stuff.
BDM of the week.
All right.
BDM of the week, yeah. Honey tits. Oh, honey tits, all right now.
I just want to do one. Just one. Just give me one.
Honey, you say tits. Honey. Tits. Honey. Tits.
Come on.
Hit me. It's almost like a James Brown kind of a thing, right? Anyway, the name of this band, you're gonna like these guys. This would definitely be my pick of the week.
It's Honey Tits and the Smooth Jazz
No,
Players.
it's not. The name of the band is CRX, which reminds me of one of my favorite Honda cars of all time.
Sure.
The name of the song is Fate. This is The Strokes. This is their guitar player. This is his band. And this has got like a weird Clash, kind of a Elvis Costello vibe to it. I think you're going to like it. We'll be right back with more A Mediocre Time right after this. 1-844-TOMNDAN, show at TomandDan.com.
Now's the time to get that preventative maintenance from American Air and Heat, because you don't need your AC breaking down.
No.
Especially, and look, summer's coming.
Yeah.
It's like a reverse Game of Thrones. Like, I know it's cold, and to think about it, you're like, oh, it'll never be hot again.
Yeah.
It's going to be hot.
Wait a minute. Reverse Game of Thrones means that means my mom sleeps with me.
Also, if you need an entire new system,
there's a lot of incest in Game of Thrones. That's what I was going for. Tons of incest in Game of Thrones.
And this is some American Air and Heat family.
Yeah, there's nothing. I'll tell you right now. There's nothing American about incest. Not in my house.
All right.
Not in my house. Not in my house.
They don't want that in their commercials.
Yeah, that must be some North Korean crap over there. That's what I'm saying.
That's North Korean American Air and Heat. Korean Air and Heat.
We've completely thrown Tom for a loop.
God damn it! We're leaving it. AmericanAirHeat.com.
That's good. I've been listening to some really, really heavy music lately. Like last night, I went to bed. I did go to the bed, but I went to bed to the sweet sounds of Kubla Khan, Texas. Oh, man.
That's the name of the band?
You want to hear some Kubla Khan?
Based on a real place?
No, I think that's just the name. If I had to guess, I think they're called Kubla Khan, and there was probably another band named Kubla Khan, and they had to put the TX on the end. to like make sure that they're not going to get in any trouble. Here, I'll play a little Kubla Khan for you. Here, we'll play Ant Pile. Here we go.
Where do you find this?
Where do I find it? I don't know how I find this.
Like, does the algorithm suggest this?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. All right.
It's what I listen to when I'm working out, when I'm drinking my Black Rifle coffee and taking my Mega Mind supplements, doing my ice bath. No, I don't. I just like
a kettlebell shaped like a gorilla.
Yeah, I do. I got a kettlebell, and I'm red. Look how red I am. I'm on that. This is basically my testosterone music I play. No, I like heavy music, man. Like sometimes I just go through phases where I'm like, I'll be listening to like the Carpenters, right? I'm listening to Close to You, and I'm like, I think I want to listen to some Kubla Khan. I don't know. It's a fucking sickness. Anyway, welcome back.
So Ross said he's got a couple confrontations mini confrontations you want to blow through before we get to the main bit here?
We got some mini confrontations.
Well, hold on. It gives me an opportunity to play one of my favorite metal songs like this one right here.
I don't remember the last time I've been in any sort of confrontation. That's how little it happens to me. So every time you come in here with multiple confrontations, I'm astounded by it.
We talked about that. I have a very good friend of the show who has a weird job, I'll just say. Dan, my buddy Dan. We were talking about this walking to Publix.
Yeah.
And he's very much like Tom. He's not a confrontation guy. Yesterday, I think he had his first confrontation, or like right before the break. I think he had his first, and it was and he hit his point.
Those guys save him up.
He hit his point, and he was like, I'm out. And this is, you want the confrontation?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you're getting it.
That kind of confrontation is more like an explosion. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to
God, you're fucking pro, man.
I'm so good at
you
this.
could leave right now on that. That was a Chuck Woolery level tease.
These are all fireworks related confrontations, sort of. We just finished up the New Year's run.
Yeah.
And so these are all. And I'm going to go. This is Quentin Tarantino style in reverse order. So we're messing with time.
Okay.
So this is we're kind of like breaking down the fireworks tent, right?
Yeah.
And Craig's going to take us all to lunch. And we're going to Rookies across the street. If you're ever in Longwood, Rookies is like the best Mexican restaurant I've ever been to. You can't
Rookies?
It's so good, Dan.
Why is it called Rookies?
I guess they want to keep people away with some kind of weird sports bar vibe in the name, but it is.
I'm getting what's that place? The Cubs bar.
Yeah.
The
Friendly Confines.
Thank you. That's the vibe
welcome.
I'm getting is a friendly confine. I don't want that.
Dude,
I want like.
And then you walk in and it's like everything's fresh. Like I get a mushroom burger there every once in a while. The mushrooms are like literally in the ground that morning. It's so good. It's amazing. Anyway, we're going to Rookies, and so like Craig's taking everybody across the street, and I'm like, hey, listen. My vaporizer ran out. I just got a little bit of flour with me, but I got nothing to smoke out of. I'm just gonna hit that. There's a head shop right there.
All right.
I'm going to literally on the way to, if you draw a direct line between our tent and Rookies, head shop right there. I'm just going to stop at that head shop. I'll be like 2 seconds. I'll be at Rookies. And so I go to the head shop and all I need is like the $5 glass pipe, I just need the cheapest glass pipe humanly imaginable. Walk in, find it within seconds, and I'm standing there looking at it, ready to go. There's a guy at the counter who's getting some vapes or whatever, right? And he goes, all right, so he picks out his vapes, and then he goes, yeah, but you know what? I need just 9 points to hit my reward level, and I get $100 in coupons or whatever. So, like, I don't know about you guys, but like I only use cash in a head shop because, like, you used to not be able to say the word bong in there.
Has that changed now?
Much less use your credit card or something. But this guy has a rewards account with the head shop. So, like, that put me off a little bit for a second.
Yeah.
But then she's like, okay, 9 points.
With your new way you're doing business.
I just was like, okay, reward points in a head shop seems weird to me, but whatever.
I mean, I have True Leaf points, and I just signed up for that after like 8 months of not having it.
Hold on. Now that there's medical marijuana on every, corner, and there's weed stores everywhere, that bong thing in head shops, that's got to go out the window, right?
Oh, no, that's an age of the past.
Okay, all right.
I went to a different head shop later that week, and I got a vaporizer battery, and I was like, I need a vape bat. And she's like, for THC or nicotine? It's out in the open.
Okay, yeah.
You won't get fucked up. Are you just addicted?
So guy goes, I need 9 points to hit my limit to get that $100 credit of my reward points or whatever. And she's like, you know what? Just buy a lighter, and that'll put you over the limit. Then you can use your reward points. So he's
good
like, okay,
customer service.
Cool. He buys the lighter, hits his $100 limit, picks out his vape cartridges. This is a lot of walking around the store too. And I'm standing there literally like a foot away from the pipe I need, cash in hand. Like I got cash in hand ready to go.
Yeah.
And I'm watching all this. So they get the vapes, they get back to the cash register, and she rings him up and she goes, all right, that's $34. But you need to spend the whole $100 right now. You know that, right? And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. And so she goes,
return it.
Well, we got grinders, we got rolling trays, we got paper. She starts listing items in the store, and
good customer
this
service.
is when I do something that you would never do in a million years, Tom. I go,
pull your dick out, because that would be awesome.
I go, excuse me, I got my thing picked out. I'm ready to go. I got my cash. Could we just do me real quick, and I can get out of your way, and you can have whatever time you need to pick out whatever. And she goes, no, he was here first. So we have vaporizers, we have vaporizer batteries, we have screens, we have lighters. Oh, you bought a lighter. And the guy's like, I don't know. He's like thinking, and I'm like, guys, really, for real,
I'm going to need a sec. Oh, hold on, my wife's calling me. Hold on a sec. Yeah, I'm at the head shop. Uh-huh.
I need this right here. It costs $5. It can't be more than $6 with tax. I got $7 right here. I'll leave it on the counter. Can I just reach under and grab? No. And then she goes, you're being very rude. And then she went back to, we have water pipes, we have hookah screens, until the guy was like, he picked out a bunch of shit, and I had to stand there the whole time and just wait.
Whoa, this is a different one. This is a confrontation where the end result is that she stood her ground, right?
Yeah, no, she refused. She refused me altogether. Oh. She continued to just list items until he picked out 3 things that cost over $100.
The chat room likes this lady. They like her. They think they like the fact that she held strong against you.
That's what's interesting about confrontations. Yeah. There's different perspectives.
I think this is the first time ever we've had a different perspective. Uh-huh. We've never had. We've never had somebody stand their ground. Right?
You know what? That might be a theme with the confrontations
okay,
of the week this
all right.
week.
I would hate to think you're losing your powers.
All right, so backwards in time. We're in the tent now. We're fully set up, right? We're rip-roaring. We're selling fireworks like crazy. For whatever reason, Duke Energy has decided over New Year's weekend to replace the giant main power line that runs down 1792 right next to our tent.
All right.
There's maybe 4 or 5 power poles there in that little strip of land, and they're that whole weekend, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, they're just replacing power poles. And they like backing their truck up right next to our tent and just leaving it on, blowing their AC to eat their lunch, but blowing exhaust right into our tent. They're real pricks about it. At certain times there are multiple trucks just running full, the big crane trucks, Tom, the giant ones, running full blast diesel right next to our tent, just kicking exhaust right into our fucking tent.
And I could be wrong, but I do think they have to run in order to power the lift.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm talking at lunchtime, they go and they park and they eat their lunch and they're just sitting in an air conditioned cab.
What do they
blowing smoke? Eat egg salad for the most part.
That's a good choice.
So they're sitting there.
I got the toots
blowing carbon monoxide.
And they're switching over power poles, so they're doing a lot of stuff. One day they dropped a wire right on top of our tent. Have you ever clenched your asshole that hard? I haven't.
An electrical wire?
Yeah, and we don't know if it's dead or not. We just hear a big clunk, and then we see a wire
on fire.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God!
All weekend,
Louise, the only thing would be worse than that is if you were inside a Cybertruck with fireworks.
We were writing the headline all week. Florida man dies in firework tent explosion caused by power line.
That lady died. God bless her. Remember, she drove her car into that fireworks store.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, and it gets you.
So, and one day they're doing some work, and they're also in our parking. So, there are 4 or 5 guys who are just directing traffic in a parking lot, and then there's a bunch of guys changing wires over on the poles, right? So the guy that just right in front of our tent, he's right there, he's 10 feet from the entrance of the tent, and not me, Tom, but the fire marshal has determined that a 300-pound guy walking around smoking a cigar the size of your forearm presents the same danger as a guy vaping.
Okay, all right.
I like that he's 300 pounds, too. I feel like this, yeah.
He's a big guy. It's a big cigar.
Yeah. I like it. It's like Kingpin from Spider-Man.
Exactly as dangerous around my fireworks as a guy vaping, according to the fire marshal.
Now, with vaping, is there any even way...
Battery explodes.
Is that the only way?
That's it.
Okay. When it is actually heating the vape oil to something, so there's a heating element.
I don't know that.
I guess. Yeah,
I don't know how it works.
I guess you could somehow expose your heating element to a fuse and perhaps light something, but the real danger...
I've tried to expose my heating element to a fuse before.
Could you even light like some kindling on fire with a vape if you were stuck in the woods?
I don't think you can because isn't it... what's that? The stove where you put the metal on it and it induction. I think like the only
use an induction heat.
Well, I'm not. But like okay, hold on. I got a vape in my pocket. Here's my point is without anything in it. If you put your finger in here and turn the button on, you're not doing anything. You need this bottom part that has this other metal piece to connect to it to heat. I think that's the way it works. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's a way that, I could be wrong, but I do not believe that there is a way that you can take just a standard battery, put a fuse in it, hold the button down, and get anything to ignite. I don't think it works like that.
I mean, Tom could, of course. But
no, I'm just saying, could you use a vape to light anything?
I don't think so.
During an emergency. Like,
I mean, maybe if you start smashing it, or something.
Like open it up. Or,
you probably have to MacGyver it at least a little bit.
So the fire marshal's like, hey, no vapes,
it's his
no
rule.
nothing.
It's right on the sign. No smoking or vaping within 300 feet or whatever,
Yeah.
And so the guy's right in our doorway, pulls out a big old vape and hits it. And I go, excuse me, sir, you got to be 100 feet away from the tent to vape. Sorry about that. He goes, fuck you.
That's a quick one. That's a hold on. Yeah. Can we pause on that for just a second?
Weird response.
That is a weird. That's a quick one. That is a really quick.
It was boomerang quick.
Really fast like that.
Oh yeah, just like that.
Did it? Walk me through how you felt when you heard that immediately. Did you whip snap quick back, or were you like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?"
So I go, "Excuse me, no smoking, vaping." He goes, "Fuck you!" Like real quick, so quick, and it flummoxed me, and I said, "What did you say?" And he goes, "I said." Fuck you. Again, just as quick, and each word precisely stated. I said fuck you.
Not what I expected for the secondary response.
Was he there to buy fireworks?
No, he was there directing traffic around basically their big ass truck running in our parking lot right next to the tent, blowing diesel into the tent. They're directing traffic around it.
Can I tell you instantly the way I'm triggered right now just hearing the story. Instantly, I would make it my goal. And I know that you don't think this way, so this is why I want to say this now. Instantly, I would make it my goal that day to get that man fired. I'd be like, you don't talk to me that way. There's no reason for you to talk to another adult that way. I'm just doing my job. You're just doing your job. So I'm going to find whoever is your boss, and I'm going to say what you did, and I'm going to make it my mission to fucking destroy your life.
Okay, so one of my coworkers in the fireworks tent saw it and was like, "What did that guy say to you?" And I was like, I said, fuck you.
And then I asked him again.
Pretty clear.
He doubled down.
And I believe, based on grayness of beard, a guy who was a supervisor on their crew also saw it. And he wasn't in front of the fireworks tent anymore, but he didn't get fired or nothing. But I think it was a case of what the fuck are you doing? Well, now, and then let me tell you, then tell me what you would say here, Tom, because later that day, I'm back in front of the fireworks tent, and another one of their workers is smoking a cigarette.
Why are they so angry?
Probably 30 feet away from the door diagonally, but still very much in the zone. Would you say something or not at that point?
Get in the zone, auto zone.
A cigarette at this point.
Okay, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm an employee of Pyrospot, and I have to do my job.
Exactly.
And it's because Craig, he could get in a bunch of trouble if the fire marshal comes by and someone is smoking, and then all of a sudden they start fining him, or take your rights to have your business
Tent's gotta go.
Yeah. There's a lot. It's hey, this is the rules that were put on by the state. The fire marshal is the government.
That's the end.
And it's that's what they told me, so I'm just enforcing that.
So, smoking right by the tent. I go, excuse me, can't be smoking within 100 feet of the tent. And this lady was like, oh, excuse me, sorry, and put her cigarette right out.
Yeah.
Excuse me, fuck you. I would like if there was like my Susan voice. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry, but also fuck you.
My first response to anybody telling me, like saying, "Excuse me, you can't do something," is, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, me
even
too.
if it's absurd, like I may think about it late. I
walk through Publix like Reek from Game of Thrones. When I walk through, everything is like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like I get in front of somebody, I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." If somebody's going to get like their fried chicken and I'm over there getting a chili, I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I go to get a top for my chili, and there's a old black guy getting chili there too. I'll stand behind him. I'll stand for an hour until he's done, then he moves.
Yeah.
I
like if someone randomly said, like, "Sir, you can't wear a hat here," I would just be like, "Oh, okay."
Yes.
That would be my, and then I would maybe get mad after I thought about it for a long time. But the initial response is like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
What? Like I start confused, but I take it off.
Your job. I try to assist you in you doing your job.
I do like the fuck you guy though.
Yeah, I do too.
Racquetball quick too, dude.
It's a weird flex, right?
Oh.
Is that one of the first times you've ever had that? Can you think of a time where you've ever had somebody just pop up like fuck, except when you sneeze in the studio? That's what I yell at him when he's in the other room and he has a sneeze attack. I go, "Fuck you!"
Yeah, usually it's an apology or they're just straight up crazy anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, never the fuck you. I've never done that. Okay, and this one's probably my favorite. This one's funny as hell. This is at setup. We're setting up the fireworks set, right? We've been at it. Dude, if I don't even know if you're familiar with the Power Spot setup, but like they put that tent up, and then we cart in like steel beams and girders and shelving. That whole, when you guys come shop at Power Spot, any other fireworks tent is just out on like folding tables.
Yes, yeah,
that's why we have so much stuff, because these shelves, it's a hard day's work putting all that shit up in these tents.
It's like the shelves in Costco.
It is. Some of them are from Costco.
It's
It is
tiny,
literally,
but it's tight and it's absolutely packed from the bottom all the way to the top, full of great stuff.
So by the time you guys get in that tent, we've moved all those beams, we've set them all up, put them all together like giant fucking Lego pieces in an uneven parking lot, and the shelving and everything. And so like we'd been at that for like, I'm gonna say it was, we started like 9 and it was like probably like 1:30 or something. Craig's gonna take us to Workies for lunch, and so we kind of button up the tent a little bit. We're all at the back of the tent, and our porta potty guy pulls up. And the porta potty guy pulls up.
"Hey, what's up, man? I'm here to suck the shit."
He has shown up. They had delivered. We need one porta potty. They delivered 2.
Okay.
And it turns out he showed up with 2 more porta potties to deliver.
Damn,
that's how
fancy.
good porta potty guys are at math. He was bringing us our 4th porta potty of one we needed.
Well, you're driving the shit wagon.
So the guy, Craig, talked to him for a second. I was like, "Hey, yeah, we need the one. You can leave these 2 on the trailer, and perhaps even take one with you."
Yeah.
And so the porta potty guy's like, "Oh yeah, okay, no, I see what happened here, man. We switched up some numbers or something.
Got some diarrhea on my paperwork. I apologize."
So like a teen boy jumps out of the cab and goes over and starts like wrestling the porta potty over to the trailer.
My dream is to be an old man driving a porta potty truck with a teen boy inside.
Yeah, doing all your bidding. And so he starts just manhandling this porta potty over to the trailer to get it up on there by himself. And there's me and 3 other guys, 4 people in total, if you can count, Tom.
Yeah.
4 people in total standing there. And again, we've been at it all morning. Like, we're dirty, sweaty. We're like hot and ready to go to lunch. And the porta potty guy comes over and goes, "The 3 of you are just going to stand there and watch him do it?" Again, very good at math. There's 4 of us standing there. The 3 of you are just going to stand there and watch him put that up on the trailer all by himself?
Ain't nothing you can help him.
And yeah, I can't help myself. I go, "Yeah, well, he didn't help us much with the fucking shelving for the last 6 hours." So yeah, we'll probably let him do his
That's
job.
A fuck you. Yeah.
Like we did ours all morning. We're waiting to go to lunch, old man.
I hope that guy that told you "fuck you" was you from the future.
or he like turned and looked at you and he's like, "Now he's got it."
So the porta potty guy holds up 4 little keys on a
These are the keys to my heart. I love you.
And he points at our remaining porta potty and he goes, "These are the keys to that porta potty. If you want to use it, you better help him get that thing up on the trailer."
Oh my God, we got a goddamn Mexican diarrhea standoff.
Right?
Hold on, the company you rent the thing is like
he's holding you hostage. He's like, "You either help that teen boy get them shitters on the truck, or you ain't gonna have a place to diarrhea."
But I'm from America, and we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yes! I do not negotiate with terrorists.
So I point to his porta potty, and I go, old man, that's for the fucking bums and hobos in this parking lot. I piss over there at Save-A-Lot.
And you got him.
Take that, motherfucker.
And he goes, fuck you, you're a dipshit. And
you got called a dipshit and 2 fuck yous in a week?
And he gave the keys to Craig. Yeah, being called a dipshit, it may have been like Pennsylvania when I was a kid. The last time I was called a dipshit.
That's
it was
an old school. That's a good one. We should bring that back.
Yeah.
Fuck a dipshit. It's good.
Now, I mean, our listeners have been hearing these confrontations for a long time.
Yeah.
And, I've said this before. There's a common theme to a lot of
There is a common theme to a lot of
It can't be just randomly people are being mean.
I think most people know that. I think most people understand.
Okay,
I think most people understand. Are we explosioning now?
You want to do it?
Let's do it.
You want to do it? You want to go right into it? Because I
yeah.
feel like the energy's good. So let's do it. Here we go.
When the normal bits are getting old, you kinda gotta punt. Skippy wasn't funny and Ramdaisy is a cunt. People getting blown up is really what we want.
Explosion of the Month brought to you by Modern Plumbing Industries.
Yeah, man.
ModernPI.com. 10% off anything if you say Tom and Dan when you call Modern Plumbing, and you can get a 10% discount off any of your plumbing services. They have been serving Central Florida for a long time, family-owned business, and can do anything plumbing related.
Yeah, all of Central Florida. They're great folks.
Yep.
Give them a call.
ModernPI.com. All right,
And Tom, you remember from the very beginning, the very first explosion of the week with the New London school disaster in Texas?
Yes.
What was the problem there? Bad plumbing. They had an amateur plumber hook up to a gas line, and it blew up the whole goddamn school and most of the town. Modern Plumbing, they have their no explosion guarantee.
All right.
I like that.
I've never seen that part of their copy.
I'm pretty sure it's in there, though.
Yeah,
it's part of explosion.
I feel confident that they actually have that as a guarantee.
Okay, your toilet will not explode.
Yeah.
Don't go making it up, Tom. I'll tell you exactly what the no explosion guarantee entails. As part of their sponsorship of Explosion of the Month, they guarantee that none of their work will cause actively an explosion of your entire house.
All right.
Oh, and also if they are in the process of the inspection of the house, they will immediately, and they notice that your house is about to explode, they will immediately waive all fees and notify you of the imminent explosion. That is the Modern Plumbing no explosion guarantee.
So hold on a second, because maybe I'm a little slow in the uptake, and I'm not in the business department. Tom, are you serious that did Tracy actually sell a sponsorship to a plumbing company for Explosion? That's a real thing?
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Explosion, she sold that.
Of the month.
I think that's hilarious. Okay, all right.
Again, because bad plumbing can lead. We've seen it with the new London school disaster. Bad plumbing can lead to loss of life and limb.
And life's too short for bad plumbing.
And I, for one,
Modern
salute
PI.
Modern Plumbing for getting the word out there about explosions and what can happen with bad plumbing.
There you go.
Now, this month's explosion, I should say, this is a classic explosion. You've probably heard about it, but we're going to get into it in a depth that you've never gotten into before unless you've read the whole wiki article, which is what we're about to do. Tom, what would you say if I told you that there was a pipe-related explosion, misuse of a pipe caused an explosion that killed people, so many horses they stopped counting, at least 2 children, a number of dogs. We're talking, of course, about the Great Molasses Flood or the Boston Molasses Disaster. January 15th.
The Boston Molasses Disaster. Sounds like something that Dusty Rhodes would say, right? I'm going to tell you right now, baby, there's going to be a Boston Molasses Disaster, baby. It's a lot of
It sounds like Dusty Rhodes diarrhea.
Oh, I got a Boston Molasses Disaster in my pants.
January 15th, 1919. The anniversary is coming up. Some of you might even be listening to this very podcast on the anniversary of the 15th. And so it had been cold in Boston the previous few days. It got hot. This boat pulls up, right, to a commercial distillery. It's called the Purity Distilling Company, and they produced ethanol, right?
All right.
And as part of that, they had this molasses tank 50 feet tall, 90 feet in diameter, and a max capacity of about 2.3 million gallons of molasses if it gets full.
I still think you should have made your son's middle name Capacity. Because it's a badass name if you were a max capacity van. It also sounds like a really big van.
So days previous to this explosion, it had been cold, kind of warmed up, but the day before, a ship pulled up with a load of molasses, and it was really cold. So they heated their molasses up, ran it through a pipe to this tank.
Can we talk about molasses for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it?
Isn't it just like non-refined sugar of some sort?
So, remember when in Little House on the Prairie when Paul would go out and tap the tree? And get the sweet sap from the tree. Yeah. You boil that down, you get molasses. You get like a sweet, sugary sap that you can pour over your pancakes or whatever. And then molasses isn't like your pancake syrup. It's more like it's a thicker, darker version, that kind of like a less refined version.
I've cooked with it. I've made some like molasses cookies before.
Like 2 drops.
Yeah,
it's super flavorful.
Super pungent,
if you have like a spoonful of it, it'll kill you. It's too much.
Way too much.
So it's basically super concentrated sugar, kind of.
But it's almost like a caramel flavor. It's like have you ever seen? It's almost like black brown.
Yes, yeah, but I know it's like black brown, and then it's like it's gooey.
Yeah, but slow gooey. Very viscous. Yeah.
And about 40% thicker than water. About that much thicker than water. And so
like my ejaculate.
This ship shows up, they heat their molasses, they run it down the pipe to the molasses tank where there's a bunch of cool molasses. And so there's like
you know what that is? That's molasses with sunglasses.
There's a molasses reaction. It starts heating up the other molasses. The weather gets a little bit hotter. This molasses heats up enough to where that this tank, which by the way, criminally underdesigned, bad steel, couldn't even hold all this molasses to begin with on a good day. Couldn't even hold this much water on a good day. This thing, the tank goes. Witnesses report the ground shook. They heard a roar, a rumble like a train. I quote, thunderclap like bang, and a sound like a machine gun. It pushed all the rivets out. It's old school steel plating, riveted in like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. So it pushed all the rivets out. And it's made like this. It's made of like big steel panels. Pushes all the rivets out. Drives the panels like across the street. And the only thing that stops these panels is the steel girders of the train across the street. Buildings swept off their foundations. Several blocks flooded to a depth of 2 or 3 feet. A wave of molasses 25 feet high.
Whoa! You can surf that shit, but it's moving so slow.
No, Dan. A wave of molasses 25 feet high moving at 35 miles an hour.
All right. So it's slower than what you would consider
slower than you think, but it's terrifying.
Yeah, like faster than you can move, but it is a slow. Like if this was water or another liquid, it would be going faster than that, right?
I can outrun it with a golf cart.
But if you're out in the street and let's say 500 feet away,
is it hot? Is it boiling?
It's Here's what's happening.
I want it boiling.
It's not boiling, but it's like liquid, right?
Yeah.
It's like semi-liquid, so people were getting stuck in it. But as it gets further and further away from the point of the explosion, it starts cooling. So people, horses, dogs, they all get caught up in this wave, but then they're immediately like trapped in it as it starts to harden and freeze. So like rescue efforts, it's not even like shifting debris or anything. It's like breaking through a fucking thick. It's like imagine somebody trapped in a big caramel, like a big just candy caramel.
And then
it's like being smothered by a big woman.
And this is from the Boston Post report. Molasses, waist deep, covered the street and swirled and bubbled about the wreckage. Here and there struggled to form. Whether it was animal or human being was impossible to tell. Only an upheaval, a thrashing about in the sticky mass showed where any life was. Horses died like so many flies on sticky fly paper. The more they struggled, the deeper in the mess they were ensnared.
I told him that too. I'm like, stop struggling.
Human beings, men and women, suffered likewise.
Oh my God!
This is terrible.
So essentially,
this is absolutely terrible.
A gigantic vat of molasses
explodes.
All the panels, and then just it gushes out onto
25
the city
million
streets.
gallons.
If you had a boat, would you be safe?
A truck got picked up and hurled into Boston Harbor. A lot of people were knocked down or had debris thrown at them by the wave of air. It displaced air ahead of it like an atomic explosion, and what was described as a wave of sweet-smelling air just like blew people off their fucking feet.
Yeah, because
This smells delicious.
Because the sheer weight and density of it
It's so dense.
is like and then it's gonna push all debris around it. Like you've seen like
Tsunami
the
videos.
tsunami
Oh,
videos.
yeah.
Like it's the debris that it's pushing.
There's a mathematical equation about the debris plus the
weight of the water and
then
it pushes
But
everything.
there's what I mean by that
squish
is,
you.
but it's like it goes this X amount of times based on the weight behind it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah,
the
times
force of the push behind
I
it
read
as
in like
well.
popular mechanics or something where they talk about how it just exponentially just starts stacking to the point where it's just nothing can stop it.
And again, with water, and now imagine the water's 40% more dense. 150 people injured, 21 people, and several horses killed, crushed, drowned. People, horses, dogs. Afterwards, the people of the survivors, a lot of them had lung problems. They had like just molasses lung. They kept coughing up molasses for the rest of their lives.
Oh my God! Could you imagine drowning in that?
It'd be terrible. They had to use Dawn to clean all the baby ducks.
From an article in the Smithsonian, Anthony DeStasio, walking home with his sisters from school, was picked up by the wave and carried, tumbling along its crest almost as if he was surfing. Then he grounded, and the molasses rolled him like a pebble as the wave diminished. He heard his mother call his name, and he couldn't answer. His throat was so clogged with smothering goo.
That's crazy.
Thanks for calling the disaster hotline. This is Daniel. What's on your mind? Oh, you pussy-ass pussy.
Maybe the molasses got him.
Pussy-ass pussy.
A bunch of people show up to help. They die. It's knee-deep molasses everywhere. They're trying to pull people out. A lot of people worked through the night. After a few days, they gave up. A lot of people so like glazed and bruised they couldn't get recognized.
Can I throw something out there? If this happens in Florida, because of the high concentration of pests, animals, and ants that we have, would they just go batshit? And would the streets just be coated in ants? Because of sugar, right? Like, wouldn't they? Like, when's the last time you dropped? When's the last time you dropped a piece of candy or saw a piece of candy, like just like a Jolly Rancher on the ground? You give it 1 hour and walk back to that Jolly Rancher, and it's literally covered in red ants, right? Covered.
We'll get to the cleanup in a second. A bunch of people brought a class action suit against this industrial alcohol company. The company claimed that the tank had been blown up by anarchists.
I believe
No,
that.
really?
Yeah, good defense, right? Didn't work.
That, yeah.
A bunch of years later, they had to pay $628,000 in damages.
I like how it's not that bad.
About 11 million, adjusted in 2023, about $11 million.
No,
That's about a 4. That's about a 4.3, right?
yeah,
I think it's about a 4.3 of the Bart Merrick team.
So they used a fireboat blasting salt water from the ocean to try to wash all of it away. The harbor was brown with molasses until summer. So
That's
many
just
people,
disgusting.
so many people had like visited the site, either like rescue or clean up or just to come sightsee, that basically molasses got tracked through the entire city of Boston. It was said at the time, everything a Bostonian touches is sticky.
Oh my God! Like a DeLand, Florida dollar theater.
There had to have been one person riding, because the reason why so many horses were killed in 1919, it was like everybody's riding horses. Like when this thing happened and the 35-mile-an-hour wave of molasses coming, like someone's out running it, right?
Fucking awesome, right?
Like at least one person, like,
and it does that move
because
where
a horse can outrun 35 miles an hour.
Where
right?
it's going, and it gets just a little bit of sugar in the horse's tail, and then the horse is like, ah! And you're like, come on!
And he blows his hat off.
Yeah.
You're riding so fast.
But
your
then the
hat
hat
flies.
blows off, and then when it lands, it just sticks. It's like, right in the molasses.
And then so for years afterwards, they said they could smell molasses in the summer. You know, like kind of bake up out of the bricks or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a kid's baseball field now.
To really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's a good flip, though. Put something positive on something so terrible. It's also kind of a funny, not funny, but it is definitely a quirky story.
And they got a plaque. They got a plaque outside the baseball field.
So now it's not a stereotypical or traditional explosion,
No.
but it
It's a
is
good one, man.
It does count as an explosion because it exploded out of the container.
Yeah, it counts as an explosion because it's an explosion. Yeah.
Well, explosion to me.
Did you hear that? That was a little doubt. He was
fire.
he was like, for those of you like me that don't think this was an actual explosion, that's what you just did.
It's more of a dam break. But I mean, we forget.
You talking about a water wall explosion?
We forget that like large masses moving super fast is basically an explosion, right?
No, that's an after effect of the explosion. The explosion is when the tank goes, dude.
The tank exploded.
Oh, yeah.
There's even a special name for them. Geez, I had it saved, but it's called like a pressurized vessel failure explosion. It's a whole separate type of explosions, Tom. I'm just dropping knowledge at your feet today.
Okay, but so it was caused by the pressure.
Yeah, the tank exploded and then caused the wave.
Oh, so you're questioning a pressure explosion versus an incinerary?
Yeah.
Explosion.
Well, like igniting some sort of combustible gas or liquid.
A boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion is kind of what we were getting into today. When, like, for example, there's a famous one where a water heater exploded in a school and it was all shoddy and led to a bunch of reforms.
Yeah,
that was almost explosion of the week. Not quite sexy enough.
We're not too reformed yet.
No,
we're not there yet. We need a little more. It needs to be more salacious.
Yeah.
I feel
we needed a 32-foot, or we needed a wave moving at 35 miles an hour for the first one here.
That's a good one. The only thing that would have made it better is if the molasses were boiling hot. That'd have been badass.
Like,
I kind of think it's way scarier that it's like cold and like you're like, oh, I can get out. Oh my God, no way, it's gripping me. I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
It's like quicksand.
old school anything, when you look back and really examine it, everything was sketchy.
It's
like
sad.
Early
Sadder.
1900s.
Yeah, Candy Factory, sad.
If you look at I saw a meme the other day about like old planes, like when they first like commercial air flight existed, and they were talking about like the conditions were of the plane, like when people were riding, like they were dressed in complete suits, right? Mm-hmm. But like the plane was shaking, it was a real sketchy, like everything was real like janky at the beginning, even though it was like, this is the safest form of transportation. Yeah. But based on early 19 whatever, when the plane and transportation started coming out, but it was sketchy as shit.
And then you throw some guy in a bowler hat trying to make money off of molasses into the mix, and he's like, no, use the subpar steel to make the tank. See?
There's always been a bit of an element of, like, I don't want to say danger because that sounds so silly, but when I do look at or watch like people that do make candy or work in these type of like fields where you have some sort of
industrial,
but like
a vat.
I have always had some sort of strange, I don't know if it was the original Batman,
it's Batman
movie, if that's why I'm
dropping
affected.
the Joker
but
in,
I have always, like, even if you go to like a small candy factory and you walk by and there's a lady back there with a boiling pot of like fudge, or like even Jeff's Bagels, remember we went back there and they had the cauldron and the lady was dropping the bagels in. There's something about when you're boiling something in a factory that is inherently scary to me. It's like, whoa,
catwalk over it for whatever reason.
You got to be able to fall in. I mean, like, how else?
All right, let's take a break.
Yes, sir.
When we come back, we'll do some emails, maybe a couple voicemails.
Yep, emails, voicemails. I might have a few other things to kick around. The name of
your house is about to explode? Call Modern Plumbing.
Yeah, exactly. They have the no explosion guarantee. Tracy's working on getting that actually, getting them to agree to that.
Be a great T-shirt. I guarantee you they'd move that T-shirt.
The name of the band, the Linda Lindas. The name of the song is Yo Mi Estro. I think that's how you say it. I'm not Spanish. Esteso. There you go. We'll be right back. Hey, buddy, quick question.
Yeah.
How's your pecker?
Oh, God. I mean, that's
look,
not
I asked
what
what I asked.
Fairvilla wants us to promote is my pecker.
But if your pecker was needing some, needs some,
a dues.
My pecker does need some help, man. Oh, thank you, Tom. In a perfect world, that's the way the ad goes. I go, hey, how's your pecker? And you go, my pecker does great. And then people are like, yeah, best ad ever. Remember when some of our ads said he has a hog in his pants and he'll make your pussy dance? Remember when we were doing those?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but if you do it too much, then the people are like, oh, they take nothing serious. I know what they're doing.
Well, Fairvilla, I feel like if there was one you could have fun with, it's the fun place that is the multiple locations that are Fairvilla Megastore. There.
There are a lot of locations. You can go to fairvilla.com to check them all out, but there's their original location on OBT.
Yep.
That's their mega store. They've got a location in Sanford that opened up recently in the past year. East Palatka.
East Palatka's got wooden dildos.
They have a location in over on the coast.
Yeah.
And
they got the seashell dildos.
Yeah. Ross, what are you doing?
You're going to really push him over the edge. Push him over the edge, Ross. Do it. Push him over the edge.
We're talking about the locations.
I drove by the Fairvilla on OBT, I guess.
Yeah.
The one just north of Colonial there?
Yeah.
And their sign, they're very topical. It said, Pornhub ban got you down. Come get some DVDs here at Fairvilla.
Yeah. They know.
Hell yeah.
They know.
Yeah, they do know.
That was good, wasn't it, Tom? Fuck you.
Also, Fairvilla University, and Fairvilla is constantly doing awesome events, like super high-quality events you should check out. Yeah. Follow their social media accounts. Just search for Fairvilla Megastore.
Yeah, Joe and her team, like the marketing team, they always do a great job, and Tom's right. When they do these events, Samantha has hosted some of them. They're huge. They're like free drinks, like free giveaways, all kinds of great stuff. So, check them out. It's Fairvilla Megastore. It's fairvilla.com.
I don't remember all the classes, but one that did stick in my mind was Anal 101.
No, okay.
Anal 101. Get your Anal 101 at fairvilla.com. Those are our friends Virginity with Mid-Weekend.
Shout out to Casey Crawford.
Yeah, I love that guy. Funny and also highly talented with the old Git Box.
One of the best Tots with Rod stories of all time about eating dinner on Cocoa Beach and a raccoon invades the restaurant. It's an amazing story.
He's a talented dude. Love those guys. So shout out to Virginity. Welcome back to A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
Tom.
Ross is here.
We were talking about Seminole Town Center Mall announced that they're closing at the end of January.
Had a lot of good memories at the old Seminole Town because that was the first Simon Mall that came closer to me as a DeLandite.
Oh, yeah, up there.
Yeah, we used to have to go to Daytona or Altamont to go to a mall. And having one in Sanford was amazing. And so that was the mall that when I first got my car, my 89 Rabbit, that was the one that I would drive over there to buy cologne so I could go try and finger girls.
Was the water feature cool when it worked? I've only ever seen it as like a dead brook in the middle of a dead mall.
Yeah, I don't remember it ever working.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, I don't.
That's hilarious.
That was the first mall I ever had a Cinnabon in.
Ooh.
Because, there was no Cinnabon. Cinnabon became a Cinnabon when that mall was open.
When did it open? Seminole Town Center.
I could get all the details. Hold on. I'll get it for you.
But so I was reading the story about it, and it's technically, because I was like, I wonder what they're going to do with it, as sure as everybody else did. And they are essentially knocking down a portion of it, and they're building a Costco.
1995.
95?
Yeah.
And so it's still going to exist. Elevate's still going to be there. They're still keeping JCPenney or JCPenney. Dillard's or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so essentially they're just reorganizing it, putting some different, there's some houses or condos they're putting in. So it's going to be something there.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Dick's, I think, is staying there because they own their own building.
It's just there's no more money in the small inside the mall stores by smaller businesses because those smaller businesses are not existing or whatever. It's,
Get it all online now.
Yeah.
Chat room. This is Brock from our Twitch chat room. He says, Seminole Town Mall story. Went to get dress clothes for homecoming with my buddy Chris. Our dates decided to tag along. I didn't drink, but I brought a bottle of Goldschlager, which Chris decided to chug. Fast forward, he pukes in the food court. I have to throw him into a handicap stall while the dates went to buy him some XXXL sales shirt from American Eagle. There you go.
We have a fireworks tent set up there this year, and a lady ran into a light pole and got out of the car and said, "Where did that come from?"
In the parking lot?
That's small town.
That's Sanford.
That's very small town.
So Sanford.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
But by the way, when I used to go to take the kids to Elevate, we were working with them and stuff, and would go to Seminole Town Center.
Yeah.
I thought it was already closed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was zombie land out there. There was they weren't mowing the grass anymore,
No.
and so I was like, this place is still open. When I saw the story, I was like, what?
You would get to the very back of Elevate, and they had put up like a window decal, so they have their own building, and you could still kind of see into the mall. There were no lights on already. It didn't look like anything was happening.
Yeah.
You know,
the most prominent feature now is the burnout marks in the parking lot. Like it clearly has been found by the drift cars, and just like the whole parking lot is just covered in vulcanized rubber.
Yeah. That's where you go to do donuts.
That's where you go to test out your import tuner, right? Like you got to go there and do some donuts.
So Ross, you said you had an email question for us.
Hi, Tom and Dan. I'm emailing today. Have you guys ever gotten an unsolicited shit box in the mail?
Now,
Hold
when you
on
say
a
shit
second.
box,
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Shitbox can mean a lot of things.
like it could mean
A box of shit?
a stool testing. They send you a box to
Is that one where you shit in the box and your wife sends it? Butler's wife made it.
yeah. But
So I'm 45. I got the butt exam and all. I got the camera up there.
Oh, then you're good.
And I got a couple polyps cut out, and so I'm fine. My wife is a couple months younger than me, and at some point, I don't know how, but AI put her on a list where this colorectal cancer screening company calls her like 3 times a day.
all right.
And is like, hey, you should get colorectal cancer screened, and you should use our box to do it. We send you a box, and you poop in it, and send it back, and we tell you whether or not you have colorectal cancer.
Colon guard.
And my wife has like politely declined a number of times because again, they're calling her like 3 times a day. And then this accelerated to the point where she received a box in the mail, a big brown cardboard box.
Is it shaped like a toilet?
No, it's box shaped, but along the outside it says caution, human feces enclosed. It says like biosample return box on it. It says all of this stuff indicating that it's a box full of shit being delivered to our house. And we didn't ask for it. It just came in the fucking mail.
Okay, here's what you do. It's going to take you a minute.
By the way, also, this particular one came, and it says all that stuff on the outside, and right through where it says human fecal sample, a hole has been poked so you can see through the brown box to the blue box on the inside that also says caution, live human fecal sample, and you can see through that box to a plastic bag inside. And again, it hasn't been used, but like... they brought it like that.
You're going to have to fill it to the brim with shit and then send it back. I mean to the brim. To the brim. Because you have to, it's going to take you months to do this, and I'll help you. I'll bring my own shit. Amazing help. Tom, if you're in on it, and we're going to fill that box. I mean,
I don't want to get involved
to the tip top with shit. This thing's going to weigh like 170 pounds.
Yes.
And then send it back to me. Say, test that, motherfucker.
I wish I would have come to you
It's
first.
the equivalent of somebody smoking close to the tent and saying, fuck you.
Yeah.
Is it some sort of marketing thing? Like, if we send it, maybe they'll use the service.
If you send it, they will count.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, maybe I will use it because
It's here. And I got to poop.
We have been focused on the creepy fact that, like, somewhere out there is somebody who really wants my wife's shit.
That would be an excellent Peepo Bryson song.
They're like, did she do There's a Stranger in My House? Is that
No, it might be. It might be. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, but somebody out there
That is weird.
really wants my wife's shit to the point where they're sending us, like, I don't know, $15 worth of mail, let's say, just like out of nowhere on spec.
Do you think that as these services get more and more popular, right, where you could start, using fecal samples to test lots of different potential diseases or problems you may have, that the delivery drivers are eventually going to have like their trucks filled with stinky human feces, right? Because if there's like 20 samples, even if you have 1,000
like
boxes,
our buddy Richard that drives for UPS, imagine him driving a truck and it's just wall to wall. I would love it. I do too, because I just noticed that he gave our show 5 stars on iTunes, and then he commented that Manchester United is a better football team than Arsenal.
Oh, okay. Well, you get 5 stars.
But
that
he's
counts.
wrong. He's wrong. No, he's absolutely wrong. They're in the shitter this year. Well, I was triggered. He got me. He always gets me. Richard's good. But him driving around with 85 boxes of shit in his truck, that's a funny joke.
Because it has to, with 15 or 20 samples in an enclosed truck.
Oh, the chat room's helping us. CD Sarah, she's very smart. She always corrects our misinformation. It's not as fun as getting to shit in the box. You put a litmus strip in the shit. You take it out, put it in the bag, and then you send it.
Okay. There's not like actual clumps of doo-doo.
I want to shit into my
full log.
Yeah, I want to lay a log in there.
This was a really big box for a litmus strip. Like,
maybe different people do it different ways.
Interesting.
Maybe this company is like, You've tried the litmus strips, and your test wasn't accurate. Now try the box with a big log in it. We got the best shit box.
And what if I dip the strip in the wrong portion of badoo-doo?
Right.
What is badoo-doo?
I feel like my cancer's in the back of the log.
All the cancer's at the end.
That's where it builds up.
It should be in the front of the log, because based on plane geometry, and a turd does look like a fuselage, the people that survive are in the back of the plane. So the cancer's in the front.
Okay.
That's just science.
Is this from Lost?
No, that came out this week. That crazy old man that lived on the plane. Did you see that?
Oh, no, I missed this one.
Last week, there were all those plane crashes, and only one guy lived on that mega plane crash.
Oh, yeah.
And he was in the back of the plane, and now everybody's scrambling. So now when you go online to book, everybody in the back, they're like, we're going to live, and y'all going to fucking die.
And plus, they're testing that guy's shit to see how he lives.
All right, emails?
Let's do a couple emails.
A couple emails. Okay, here we go. Hey, Dan, hope all is well. I was reaching out today to see if any of you are doing any MegaCon coverage this year. I was planning on going, and if you were too, would love to meet up and do some stuff for both T&D and maybe the Oh No radio show as well. I'd love to come in sometime and talk to you and Tom about it. Have a great day. And that is from Mike B. Are we doing any...
Well, we may interview some celebrities going to MegaCon. We've done that before in the past. Billy's hooked those interviews up.
Are they really celebrities, though?
Yeah. I mean,
let's just come on.
The guy who put on the suit for Swamp Thing.
What was it like in there?
Dude, if you get like Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica, let me know. Big
Starbuck?
fan.
Starbuck would be a big one.
Starbuck,
like Hayden Panettiere, she's out there.
Remember
I don't know. Those guys.
Hayden Panettiere, I'm surprised you like. What was that show? She was the cheerleader, right?
Yeah, it was
Buffy.
No, it was the they all have
Heroes.
power.
Heroes.
That was a decent show.
Yeah, I like the Asian guy.
So
he had the coolest powers. I thought, couldn't he stop time or something?
What Mike B is talking
racist.
about is the man on the street. You go to Comic-Con and you're like, hey, I'm Tom Van. I'm at Comic-Con today. Let's see what's going on in here. And then
when you get back from California, you go to MegaCon here in Florida.
It's always MegaCon.
Yeah, MegaCon.
But it's con to con. And then I'm in there and I'm talking to a guy dressed like
you're gonna do like, what are you gonna do? Triumph the insult comic dog?
There's all these
where you ask the passive aggressive questions, right?
Here's the problem with those things.
How hard is it to eat your mom's pussy in a Mario costume?
Those man on the street bits take all day long,
and you get
5
stinkers.
But you get a 38-second clip for social media that you could put up there. But that took 6 hours sitting there. You're talking to a bunch of fat Wolverines, and then finally you get one person.
You got on the spectrum, Freddy Krueger. You got all these weirdos.
Most of it is boring, and
then
Princess Peach.
maybe you stumble across that one Hawk Tua girl, and then and she's super
That's true.
famous, and nobody even knows who the fuck you are.
yeah, you're right.
By the way, she ended everything. It only took her 128 days to end everything.
No, the podcast and all that.
Yeah, she's in a lot of trouble. Class action lawsuit, the meme coin. Yeah, it's bad. It looks bad for her. We haven't heard from her in a minute. The last thing
I
she
feel
did,
bad for her.
The
She'll
last
be a
thing she
megacon in
did
20
was
years.
she posted a video of her like having a big vacation like a couple of weeks ago, right after the meme coin thing, and
boy.
then it's been like radio silent.
Oh, boy.
And a lot of people are speculating that she is in some legal trouble because she did scam her audience and steal money from people.
And also, she had no voice or anything to say.
Yeah, and it is Jake Paul's fault, 100%. He's the one that gave her the show. What's his name? Howie Mandel's cousin or brother-in-law or something is the one that did the coin. It's a mess.
Yeah, and I have no idea. She may have known it was a scam, but I would lean towards and bet on that she just naive.
No, I
You know
don't,
what I'm saying?
I don't
Like,
think she knew it was a scam,
So-
but I do think she should be held accountable because ignorance is not a defense.
I don't think she knows what day of the week it is. Yeah.
it should be a defense.
No.
I'm just advocating for ignorance being a defense.
I know you are.
Yeah. I
I heard
would
what
like
you
it to
said.
be because
I heard what you said.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not 100% a defense, but everybody in society should feel sorry for the person.
Here's why I don't feel sorry for her because the
'Cause they
reason
get
she
bliss.
was doing it,
They get bliss out of it.
Well, she's first. I don't feel sorry for her. She defrauded people, and then the last video she put out was her on a vacation. That's a bad look. The other reason I can't.
Well, she's ignorant.
I understand that.
It's not her fault.
What I really hate about all of this is she wanted to get rich, though.
Yeah, well, everybody wants to get rich, especially ignorant people.
She wanted to get rich. She stole from people, man. Sorry, you're fucked.
Your Honor, I would like to plead ignorance.
That's what I want.
And then the
what if you
judge is
get
like, I'm sorry. He pled ignorance. Dismissed.
We can't prove he knew anything.
Yeah.
But if you didn't intentionally steal from people and you just, like, someone's like, hey, I'll pay you a bunch of money to promote this.
But somebody did, and you turned a blind eye to it. You didn't do your due diligence.
Like, if someone told me Howie Mandel's cousin came out, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, the guy that's afraid of germs on AGT. I'm like, that guy, it must be legitimate. And then you're like, hey, I'm going to pay you $10,000. $10,000? I love money.
It blows my mind. Like, even the chat room, it blows my mind that I'm the outlier here, that people feel sorry for this fucking idiot woman. Fuck this lady.
I can prove to you that ignorance is not a defense. Remember in Tiger King when the guy was like, when I operate the gun in this certain way, it won't go off. He was ignorant of the fact that it would in fact go off if he did, and he shot himself in the fucking brain.
Yeah, okay,
You can be completely ignorant of how things work and still fuck things up and be guilty.
a victim of his own ignorance, which
Oh,
is
that does sound good. Write that down for your book. Do you want to do this one here?
Yeah.
Let's see here. This is from Brad. Hey guys, I've been listening to you since you were on the Monsters. I started listening, pardon me, around the time Tom joined. Two things I can't stop thinking about are when Jim mispronounced Gron and Donkey Showin'. There was also Oyster and Laughsure, but I'm not sure if those came from Jim. So now the important part, were these radio bits or real? He always projected himself as being so smart that it was hard to believe that he was being legitimate or being this dumb. Thanks, Brad. Those were real.
First, let's do a segment called "What Happened in the Radio 20 Years Ago." Questions from the past. A long.
Questions from the past. I like
Hold
that.
on.
That's on History Channel.
What made this person email
No
us
idea.
now, 2025, about something that happened? And honestly, it could have been 2005.
That was for January 5th. That email was from January 5th.
Yeah,
Hey
but-
man, I was just sitting in my backyard enjoying a Coors Light, thinking about Jimmy's mumble mouth 25 years ago.
You know what?
Jimmy is smart, but he grew up in Palaca.
I bet I figured it out. It was probably because we had Jimmy on a show. And it was just top of mind. He just started thinking
on
about
the
the good
BDM
old
show.
days.
Yeah. Jimmy came on for a BDM show about 3 weeks ago that's aired. If you're not a BDM, it was a really good show. But Jimmy's always had, like, Jimmy's super smart, but he's also grew
Super
up in
dumb.
Palaca.
Oh.
And like, and when you're a kid, it's like Warsh. You know, like, and like, you're influenced by
My
your
dad used to say "Warsh."
what your parents say.
You got a couple. I got a couple.
say I mispronounce words all the
Can
time.
I give you yours?
know.
One of them.
But I am stupid though.
But they're cute.
So
I think
maybe he
they're,
is
I think they're
stupid.
kind of cute. Like, he has some cute ones. Like, I know I have them too, and the listeners will tell me mine. I don't know what mine. I think Holla Box. Holla. It's Holler Box. and I say hollow box. People hate that. You say surgeant instead of surgeon.
And
like
Sibian instead of Simeon. And,
but I like that one. That one's cute. Sergeant.
And regiment instead of regiment. That's just off the top of my head.
Those are easy, though. We all got, everybody's got them.
I don't know if this happens in other talk radio. I imagine it does, because it just seems like it was a natural thing.
Thank you, Melissa.
But from my experience, in the same thing with podcasts or any talk show that is, they're not really topic driven. It's kind of, improv, let's say.
Just two guys drinking beer and having a good time.
Just dudes on dudes.
Is that
talking sports or whatever comes up.
The cast members or the people on the show, at least in my experience, never after something's been said or jokes have been like a bit's happening, whatever. Like during the break, we never say, "Oh, was that real?" You know what I'm saying? Like it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like we move on to the next. When no one on the show actually cares.
I am being serious and saying that. Like there is a part. Like it's going to blow people's minds, but he'll come in and tell me a story, and I could either choose to question it. Maybe he pumped it up. Maybe he didn't. But I prefer to just go with it and move on,
because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's a performance at the end of the day.
It's not a court of law. We're not.
You're like, hold on, was that? Go back and let's look at the transcript.
Did Max really say that?
Okay, we have. Well, he did. I have. I actually have a recording of him saying "Hot Tua." Tracy, this is related, unrelated. Would like to apologize to you, Tom. Earlier this week, she said that you are flat-footed and run like a duck, and she's saying she felt bad.
Come on. There's nothing anybody could ever say to me that would ever affect me in any sort of way at all ever.
I believe that.
You can make fun of me. You can say anything. Yeah. There's nothing that would ever affect me.
And here's the weird thing about me. I'm exactly like that too, except if you say something that's hurtful to me, I will get triggered. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you'll hold a grudge forever.
Oh, yeah, but I don't really care about it. It's not, but I will get hot about it. This is a good ending email right here. This is from our good buddy, Ghost of Manute Bull, or Ryan. He says, Happy New Year, gruesome twosome. As we kick off 2025, I thought it might be a good time to submit my 2025 wish list for T&D Media. Below is a short list of things I'm wishing for in the new year.
Oh, it's like when Tom was on the Monsters and he gave out Christmas wishes?
It's the next thing he's saying. Holy shit,
Ross. Hell are people talking about that?
Holy shit.
We haven't been on that show in over a decade.
It says right here.
It's been 12 years for Daniel. 13 years. I've been 12 years.
Yeah. It says right here, I promise, quote, new teeth won't be on the list like other wish-themed shows.
Hilarious.
Number one, I'd like the gruesome twosome name to catch on. I do like gruesome twosome, but Ross is here, so we need what do you
like about gruesome twosome?
I don't know. But what do you hate about it? Maybe we should throw it back on you. What do you hate about it?
A, it sounds like some sort of like Halloween or horror themed something.
Okay.
B, you're describing us as gruesome.
Yeah. Aggressive.
You're supposed to be saying the negatives.
Yeah. I like
gruesome insinuates that we're disgusting to look at and be around. Gruesome.
The ego's attached. I knew it. He does care what people think. He does. He can't be called gruesome because it wouldn't sit well with his own ego to be called gruesome.
But it doesn't describe even
this
what
guy,
we talk
you're
about.
You're not comfortable being disgusting. See, I am. I'm very comfortable. Let's see. It says, I hope Tom takes a few minutes to research how genies actually work.
Okay.
I know how genies work. What the fuck is this guy talking about?
No, he has another email about genies. Should we switch to that?
Hold on.
Oh, my God.
Genies live in a lamp.
No. Hold on. I'm going to find the genie email.
They can live in a number of objects. Sometimes a ring.
Okay, they can live in some sort.
You're going to make me go back and pull the goddamn genie
small container, but it has to be a container. They can't live in a brick.
No, like a ring. In the Alibaba store, one of them's in a ring.
But the ring has like a glass ball.
Is that right?
Like it's not.
Where is
it's not a thick
email?
jewel.
Verbally bested me here, sir.
I imagine because you can see the genie smoke like the mini.
Not all genies have smoke. That's not true.
Well,
they all have velvet couches, though.
That's not true.
And then once
They love astronauts.
Oh God, he might have to send it again. But he did send me an email
God, I
talking
wish
about
he
talking about how you have no idea how genies actually work, and he's so mad at you.
Well, I do know that genies grant you some sort of wish,
But you always say if a genie came up, and I think that's one of the things he like makes a problem with. It's like genies don't just wander up to you.
Oh, okay. Well, but if they did,
No, but they don't.
well, who would wander up to you then and grant me my wish?
A
Who has magic? A sorcerer?
I don't know where this fucking. Send it again, Ryan. I need your genie email. Send it again because he was very mad about how you handle Genie.
Well, I just said what if he wandered up to me after I rubbed his goddamn lamp with my feet?
Call in, or you can call in about Genie. Okay, let me continue with this.
Because getting a wish, you have to do something. You have to catch the leprechaun, or at least find the fucking lamp or whatever. They don't just walk up to you.
These are other things that Ryan wants us to do.
Feet for one thing, they dissipate into smoke at the bottom.
That is true. Well, it's like a squiggle.
Yeah.
So Dan should make it a point to bring up Jelly Roll eating his boogers at least once a week. Okay, we're off to a good start.
He does that already.
Yeah, I bring it up every day. Have you seen the video of Jelly Roll eating his boogers?
I want to.
Yeah, everybody should watch that before you consume his music.
We talked about it.
Before you consume his music in 2025, because I have I think he's going to get bigger this year than he's not size-wise. He's lost 100 pounds and good for him. But I think he's going to be
on that booger diet.
He'll be big. Yeah, if that's all you eat. But he's going to be a bigger country music star than he's ever been this year. And I think I would like for people, before you know who your kids are listening to. Watch the video of this man eating his boogers. Is that who you want?
We talked about this.
Is that who you want your fucking children listening to? A man that openly consumes his boogers? I want Jolly, D-Rug, and Game Show Drew on the same show. Drew seems like he'd be scared of black people, and it would be good content. So I think that's a good one. Great job on that one, Ryan. I want either Tom or Dan to surprise the other by screaming full volume into the mic instead of saying, "Welcome to a Corporate Time with Tom and Dan." Just scream really loud when you begin the show. We kind of did that. You have a new thing now where we start ACT and Tom just looks into the camera and goes, "You know who's here." Right? Isn't that kind of how it goes?
Well, I was just making a joke about us always introducing ourselves and you clicking on the podcast, Tom and Dan, and then we're introducing, we're like, I clicked on it. But I know I clicked on.
But I think you want you. Okay, never mind. Yeah, fuck it.
And then ACT also comes out of the radio, just in people's trucks and stuff too.
That's true.
No, that's kind of old school while you introduce yourself. But
this one, host a Twitch watch along with the T&D documentary. We should do that.
Oh my god,
we should do that. Would you be down to do that?
When they were filming that, I'd have to do mushrooms to watch it. I think.
Okay, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We did a commentary about it was on the DVD.
Really?
Yeah.
You can find it on the DVD. There is a special commentary.
Can we just take the commentary from the DVD and?
I mean, that'd be the lazy way to do it, but yeah, that's cool. That's fine. Yeah, people don't love that because they've already seen it, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's great. That's a great idea.
Well, this guy's living in the past. We did that damn documentary.
No, but we haven't watched it with a group of people on Twitch. It's a completely different thing. Right. But hey, if you want to think it's the same.
Well, this guy has horrible ideas. This is the worst idea. Email. Every idea is horrible.
Here's the last one. Have a Win EJ's Job contest where listeners do a segment that would replace Nerd Jock. It doesn't have to be the same as EJ's, but it should be better. Wow. Each guest would get a song about their tiny pecker or big vulva and a thank you gift.
All right, now he's got it. And we will enact that right now. If you want to do a segment that will take Nerd Jock, email us, show@tomanddan.com, and we'll invite you on the show.
I like it.
If it's better than Nerd Jock, then you'll replace EJ's segment.
That's crazy because before the show, we were like, how can we get a worse EJ in here?
We were saying that. Yeah. All right, let's end with this one because it's kind of cool. This is from Rob. He says, "Hey guys, there were 2 pirate radio stations in Orlando in the early 2000s. 95 Live and 93 Dance. 95 Live was first and played mostly rap and hip-hop. They had call-in S to spit rhymes against each other and shout-outs to 33rd. Late night, they let DJs come in and play breaks and house. They started 93 Dance to let DJs have a station. I know several DJs who played there. Angel probably knows them as well." So that's pretty cool. Maybe we can hit them up and see maybe if we can get somebody in here to talk about the old 95 Live. I remember 95 Live now. Now that they say the name, I remember that.
That sounds super cool.
And they used to call in, and I believe they used to call in and fuck with me and Drew.
Oh, yeah?
Because why wouldn't you? If you're
Right.
an underground radio station and we're the corporate talk station, they'd call in and just fuck with us to the point where me as if I remember correctly, as a phone screener, I'd be like, hey, Drew, we got some guys being mean to us, that kind of shit.
I did think over the break that we should just start a pirate radio station somehow, and just for a joke, because
I think we could do it for like $1,000. Like the tower.
We need the big ham radio tower.
$1,000. I think we could do it.
Where would we put it?
We'd have to have somebody with some private property.
And it has to be close to where we want to broadcast.
Right.
Well, it depends, because there's science behind that. Because once you have your thing set up, you try to find a frequency, and the way that you power it, you try to get it to skip and jump. Like you can, I forget what that's called. Remember, we talked about this. I was telling you about it. There's a way that you can use the lower atmosphere to bounce radio signals.
I think that's an AM thing, though. Can you do that FM as well?
Yeah, it's a radio thing. You can literally bounce signals.
Can you take over a station?
It depends on what time of day, where your signal's at, how much power you have, and how you're directing
and
it.
You're not going to have more power than any commercial broadcast. That's
but
why
in
you go
certain
in between.
areas, but in certain areas, you can step on them. Yeah, you can do that.
Like, what if we spent a tremendous amount of money and got a tower and figured out a way to make it powerful enough to take over 104.1 during our own night show and do a show over ourselves?
I love that. I love
we get in trouble. Is there?
No, we're ruining our own show. We're allowed to do that. We own it.
Yeah, and then
I like that idea.
And then to tell iHeart we're doing this over our own station.
No one's ever done it before. It's legendary.
Yeah. And then
this is as good as your idea when we were going to be on. We were going to be on at nights. We were going to be live on Florida Man Radio at night. At the same time, we're on. At exactly the same time as we're on a real radio, Tom was like, we're going to cover everything.
I was
like, this guy's a fucking genius. I love that idea.
They said, no, you can't do that. But I was like, why, though? Think about it.
I think it's a great idea.
I broke their brain because they were like, I can't think of a reason why.
And there's nothing more North Korea than we're on every channel. You can't escape us. You go to every channel, Tom and Dan.
Because I'm like, it's not taking listeners away because you're hearing the same show.
Yeah.
So no one's going to switch to channel if I hear the same show.
It's forcing people to listen to us. I love it. I think
because that's the reason why you don't want competition is because but if it's the same show,
I think it's great.
And anyway, all this is too
It would
complicated.
be so much easier just to put on some ski masks and hold yourselves at gunpoint and take over your own show.
Yeah, the Smollett.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we're gonna airheads ourselves.
Exactly. Tom, you're Buscemi.
Let's plug some shit and get out of here, buddy.
All right. Of course, the amateur rib contest at 10:10. The food truck fiesta is this Sunday in Sanford, downtown Sanford. And so that's second Sunday of every month. The food truck fiesta happens.
You said amateur rib. I thought you said amateur rip, and I started to get mad about Yellowstone.
Have you seen Landman and Jerry Jones?
Oh, I love Landman. Jerry Jones is a goddamn good actor. He's so good.
I saw that.
I sent it to you. I was like, this motherfucker made me cry while I was eating my oatmeal.
I have a theory about that. I think that he's so old that his age mixed with his cognitive ability or whatever at this point in his life. I don't think he could have been this good of an actor 30 years ago. I don't think he was a good.
Some of it's baked in.
And he played himself.
I don't know how to take it because
but I don't think young Jerry Jones could be this good.
I don't know how to take it because I watched it and he legitimately gets tears in his fucking eyes. I'm not kidding you. It's you have to go and watch the clip, and it's on Twitter, and they cut it out because the Landman people know it's a good segment, and they want you to see it. Trust me.
Because what causes you to not be a good actor is you being affected by your environment and not being able to get yourself really.
He's
in
also
the scene,
selfish, which I think makes great actors.
Hey, don't interrupt Tom Van on acting.
Right, no, but it's like when you see a good actor, it's believable because it seems like what the person's saying is like he really believes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know he's playing himself as a fucking cameo, so it's not too far fetched.
But it's powerful, man. He's giving a speech to John Hamm.
Good acting is good pretending.
Yeah, but I don't think.
No, he's not pretending in this. He's telling John Hamm that he could be just confused. Old man does a good job saying how much he cares for his family, right?
Yes, but
because he may not have known they were rolling because it's really good. It's so good. I'm not even overblowing it.
They may have just had a conversation with them and then
we got it. Yeah. Ross, it's so good that you're like, well, hold on a second. Is he being interviewed? And then you're like, and then you keep seeing John Hamm in the background, which is what resets my brain that it's real. And I'm like, what is it? It's weird. It was weird. Yeah, and I think you might be right. He's at a point in his life where he can do that.
It's like old people, they lost their filter. Like he lost his filter, and that makes him a better actor.
He may have thought John Hamm was really in the hospital. He may have thought that.
Because if he was this good of an actor the whole time, like, he would have been in more shit back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would have, because he's fucking Jerry Jones. He loves promotion and shit.
What it reminds me of is, like, when they called him in to do it, I full unexpected it to be shitty. And then when he starts doing it, you're like, oh, you're like on the show Dallas. Like, you're really like J.R. Ewing. Like, you're the real Like, it's very much like, oh, shit. And it goes on uncomfortably long. Like, the soliloquy that he gives is probably a minute longer than I expected him to talk. And I'm like, where's this going? And he ties a little bow on it, and he teaches you a little moral about family, and then he does, like, the pleasantries to get out of the hospital room, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? It's good.
Maybe from doing...
And I hate Jerry Jones. I fucking hate that guy.
He has done, like, radio and local media.
He does it every week.
Dallas every week. And maybe
he's done it for, like, 116 years. He's done local radio.
From all those reps... Like, that does get you better at, and he's all those.
And he's on the spot because they ask him questions.
Yeah.
They're like, "What's going on with Dak?"
And
he'll say, "Like, well, I told you guys I'm not going to answer any questions about that." You know, so maybe you're right,
and he's kind of playing Jerry Jones in the media, and maybe like all those reps just all of a sudden like, "Hey, play Jerry Jones on Landman," and then he's like, "All right, I'll do what I've been doing."
So he did the radio interview. You're right.
Hey, when you do watch it, there's no sense of that he is an amateur and like. Oh shit! This fucking guy's doing a good job.
It almost makes me wish he was a character of the show, just so I could watch a little bit more of it because it's so fucking weird.
You guys should definitely suck his dick.
That's disgusting. That is a disgusting old man.
When's the last time you think Jerry Jones got it?
Oh, last night. Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. He's got somebody who sucks his dick whenever he wants it to.
I don't think you want it that much when you get saying 80
if he did.
Or 70. How
if
old
he
is
did.
He?
Look, when I'm 80, I'm going to have a guy sucking my dick.
You didn't ask when he finished. Like, you can just get it sucked, you know?
You can't get a boner unless you take a pill at 70s.
Sometimes you just want to sit down at your desk and just lay your cock in someone's mouth.
Yeah. And then I think you don't even want it anymore. Once you get it all fades. Everything
this
fades.
Is disgusting.
Anyway, also
that's a weird end part.
Well, I can't even plug this now. I won't plug the last thing.
Hey, was it family friendly church night or something?
Yeah. We're gonna plug our family friendly church night. We started a youth group, me and Tom.
That's where the money's at. Yeah. Oh God!
We started an after care program for high schoolers.
No shit. A youth pastor came into the Power Spot tent and dropped like a lot of money on fireworks and then back to Tesla up into the tent to load it. I was like,
pastor going up. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, pastor is where you go.
Man. God is back. Did you know that?
It's back?
Oh, it's back bigger than shit right now, man.
Welcome back, God.
Yeah, God is back.
All right. We will see you Monday.
No, I got a whole sheet of plugs over here.
Sorry. What do we got here,
I mean, there's always Tots with Ross. We're starting our new season next week. New recordings. Thanks as always to DeWitt Law Firm and Burn Pest Control for that. Oh, tomorrow, or if you're listening to this, the 11th, Saturday, come see me at the Fringe for Psych. Comedy show where you do a comedy set and then a licensed therapist analyzes you mentally afterwards. That's going to be really fun.
That's super interesting.
That's tomorrow at the Art Space Black Box, part of the Fringe Fest at 1:45 p.m. That's an afternoon show.
Go support that. Go support Fringe.
Yeah, Google up Orlando Fringe to figure out how to get tickets to that.
You'll come in and tell us about that, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we'll get Amy in here, too. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I would love that.
1:45 p.m. show. And then,
nothing but amazing things about her.
And then later that night, I'll be up at Propagate Social House up in Apopka, 7:30 show there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Dan, your favorite show, the 24th.
I saw this.
We got a Friday. What do you want from us at Framework on Mills? It's going to be awesome. And then the 27th of February, we'd save the date. We got a drag comedy up in Sanford. Dr. Anna Lepley that you guys talked to. Yep. Drag comedy the 27th, and I think it's at the West End.
One finger is medical, two fingers is magical. That is her T-shirt.
I also
live, laugh, lick pussy. That's the one I have.
That's a pillow she sells at her.
I remember Tracy, your wife, my wife, and some other side chicks.
I'm listening.
Are doing a meetup at Fairvilla Megastore coming up. It's in a couple weeks, but you have to be a.
Are they taking Anal 101?
They're
maybe. I think Andrew's teaching it.
They're going to be shopping with a professional at Fairvilla, and if you want to be involved, you got to join the BDM Side Chicks group.
Yep.
And you have to be a female, and that's the only really stipulation in BDM. And so if you search BDM Side Chicks, then just ask Tracy to let you in. Just request to get in, and
or
then
you'll
just see.
Shoot me an email if you're confused about it. I can help you out.
Yeah, the event page is in that group.
This is Anal 101? I thought it was Anal 301. I brought my watermelon.
Tracy says, I got scared for a second. Oh, we be shopping. And then she wrote crotchless panties.
All right.
So you're shopping for crotchless panties? Tracy, why would you say that? Why would you say that you are shopping for crotchless panties?
In 2024, is edible underwear still a thing?
Yeah.
Do they still make fruit roll-up masquerading as underpants?
I found my mom's spearmint flavored edible underwear. My dad's.
Come on.
They didn't use them. Plus, nobody. It looked like a fly trap with as much hair as that lady had. My God. Good Lord. She had a beard like Lin-Manuel.
Come on.
Don't talk about Bruno. All right.
We will see you on Monday.
Wait a minute. I can't publish that. It's mediocre.
This is all jokes and funny to you, huh? You can take it up with legal. Have a good day.